Good morning. I got up and went to practice this morning. Yay! It's been a few weeks since I was traveling and all that sort of thing. So knew I needed to get back to practice at some point. So today was the day, and I wasn't sure I was going to do it because, I knew I was going to do it. I just didn't know how it was going to be. If you saw my video from yesterday about the garden, I ended up doing my sheet mulching. It turned out I got some cardboard. I found somebody with some cardboard. And then the mushroom compost delivery was early. They asked if they could deliver it yesterday afternoon instead of this morning. And once that happened, I just went to work. Oh my God. I must have walked 3 or 4 miles just back and forth to the compost pile. But I have the cardboard, and there's probably at least about 3 to 4 inches of mushroom compost on top of that. I'm going to get a little bit more cardboard this evening. I have just one little section yet to finish covering up. But I got through probably 2 cubic yards of the about half of what they delivered, and it was a lot. Oh my God. I start doing something like that and I think, no, I just got to finish. Just keep moving through because then it's done. But I may throw some buckwheat seed on there and plant a little cover crop of buckwheat, then pull it up and leave it in, and by that time we'll be getting leaves, and I will put the catcher on the mower so that I can mow up where the leaves are and then just dump the leaves right on top. And then maybe put black plastic over it so it can decompose better. So that's off to a good start. But I was going to tell you about the wedding. And if you've seen the video, you've got little videos that I combined into one. You have a little bit of a taste for it. The weather was perfect. It wasn't. We thought it might be a little too warm, but it was just perfect. We started out with, on Saturday, we had a welcome dinner that Joshua, I forget what we're called now. She told me there's a Yiddish word for mothers-in-law. And I'm going to have to look it up, but I can't remember. But that's what we are now. So she was a caterer. So she still, since the kids were arranging for the reception the way they wanted it at this one restaurant, whatever, she still wanted to do something. So she decided to essentially cater this welcome dinner for people who are coming in from out of town and family and that sort of thing. So I did the flowers for that, and I helped set it up, and I had my little flags that I had shown you that I gave to Laurel after that. And it was very nice. Met some of the new relatives, had some really good food. Sam just did such a fantastic job with all the food. It was vegetarian except for some salmon. And she had dolmas and a couscous salad and like another veggie salad and fruit and these little cheese empanadas. And there was like hummus and something she called liver, but it was actually a vegetarian thing. I don't know if she used eggplant. I didn't get any of it. So I took a lot of pictures there with my digital. And I'm waiting for film back too from everything. So that was Saturday, and I had fixed all the flowers up on Friday night. We had gone shopping, and I got the flowers, and then I had a nice visit with Laurel. She was working from home that day, and we got together for lunch, and then we just walked around the mission. It was nice. We hadn't had an opportunity to visit like that in a very long time, and she was pretty relaxed, and it just felt excuse me, it just felt really just very, very connected, and just felt really good. Just really, you know, nurtured my heart, I guess. So that was Friday. Saturday was dinner, and then Sunday, I had to check out of the little hotel I was in because then I was going to go over to the Burlington in Port Costa, so I would be there afterwards. And we had helped a little bit on Saturday setting up the venue. That was before the rehearsal, and we were like all over the place on Saturday. So Sunday, the wedding wasn't until the evening, so I had to check out of my hotel, and then I hung out at my sister's for a while, and I went ahead and I changed there, and then my son picked me up, and I went and I checked in at the Burlington, put my stuff away, and then went over to the venue, and I had agreed to greet people. Laurel had asked, well, do you want to, I said, what can I do to be more involved? Because it was kind of hard to be so far away during the planning process. So doing the flowers for the welcome dinner was one thing she came up with for me to be able to be involved. And then she said, do you want to greet people before the ceremony? And so I stood on the front porch and just said hello to people as they walked up and said, hi, I'm Laurel's mom. Most of the time I didn't say my name. I just said, hi, I'm Laurel's mom. And so I was able to meet some of the different, I had met most of the relatives, but I met, a lot of their different friends. And it just felt really good. And the ceremony was just, it was just so perfect. It was just so them. It was so authentic. And that's the way the whole wedding was. I mean, and that, to me, that's what made it very, very special, because first of all, they have excellent taste. and we're not talking about mainstream taste. We're talking about very artistic, creative, authentic taste. So it was a simple setup, but it was beautiful. And their vows to each other were just, they weren't long-winded. The ceremony wasn't super long, but it was just, it was just real. It was just very authentic, and I thought, to me, it was just perfect. And then we had the band, and we marched down the street, and Port Costa, I think, only has like a population of like 146, because it's in the Bay Area, but it's kind of surrounded by some of the East Bay Hills and parks and things like that. It's kind of public land around there, I guess. Used to be like ranches or farms, 150 years ago. So it's a small little town, kind of a little bit rough around the edges. So when we all got our, little champagne glasses, they're plastic glasses, and we marched down the street with the band. And if you saw the other video, you saw that part. And everybody in the community was coming out front, their houses on the street and waving. And, I think there's only one person that seemed a little bit grumpy because he was trying to drive out the street, and we were kind of in the way a little bit. And then everything at the reception, we just did a lot of visiting with people, and the bar was great. Oh my God, I got a copy of the menus, and they were like all these drinks. They had like 5 special cocktails, and then they had a special setup with prosecco and syrups. You could make your own, like a kir or something like that. And well, the restaurants, Bull Valley Roadhouse is an awesome restaurant, and the bartender there is just everything is just like so spot on and so good and so funky and interesting and artistic and homey at the same time. So we had drinks, and then we sat down for dinner, and then we had toasts, and I got to do a little toast, and then they had their dance out in the street, and while they were dancing, it was funny. So again, in the video, you see just this little clip. They were dancing to a song from some show. I don't remember. It was a cute song though, about love being dumb. So as they were dancing, and there were these, and just down the street, there's the Carquinez Strait, which is part of the Sacramento River, and there were these fireworks that went off. I thought, oh, that's cool that they arranged for that. Well, it turned out that was my brother from Wyoming had brought a couple of fireworks and set them off over the river while they were doing their dance. And then Joshua danced with his mom, and then we all went inside, and one of the rooms was set up for dance party, and I kicked my shoes off, and boy, that was pretty crazy. It was nice. We had to be out of the. Oh, and the food was great. The food was really, really great. They didn't have wedding cake. They decided to have pieces of carrot cake and pecan pie for dessert. And then after the restaurant had to close up by 11, and we started at about 7, I guess, there. But somebody had a larger room in the hotel next door, and so everybody who wanted to still go and hang out for a little bit went to the room, and they brought out more booze. But I was pretty beat at that time, and I didn't know whether it was going to be younger people, but it turned out there were, Joshua's mom was there, and I think Matt was there too. But I was tired, so I went to bed. And the next morning, I got up and I did a little video. I took some pictures, and then there's a little coffee place that's attached to the hotel, and they open at 8 for people who have stayed in the hotel. You can have coffee and pastries, and I had some coffee, and I had some orange juice, fresh squeezed orange juice, and I had warm pound cake that they had just taken out of the oven. I could smell it baking in the morning because my room was like right above where the cafe was. Something's baking. So that was a lot of fun. And then later on, Julian and his girlfriend, they had spent the night too, and we all drove back, and he dropped me off at my hotel. And then I got to visit him later in the afternoon and saw his new apartment in Noe Valley. And he made tea, and we sat, and Karen, his girlfriend, was there too, and we talked a little bit about their trip to Amsterdam. They had just gone to Amsterdam a couple weeks prior. He brought me back some tulip bulbs, so I have to plant those soon. And then one of my brothers and his son, who had been out, we went out and had some Thai food. And then the next day, so that was Tuesday. I was leaving Wednesday, and Laurel and Joshua were going to leave Wednesday on their honeymoon to Italy. So now they've been in Italy for a week, 2 more weeks. They've got so their place was a mess, but I wanted to hear what the gifts were that they got and stuff. So I went over to their neighborhood, and we just got some sandwiches and sat out in the park and visited for a little bit. So I was able to visit them, and then I just walked around downtown in the Embarcadero in the late afternoon, and got myself together and was up early to come back home. So it's a little hard coming back. It was because, that's the other thing. When I first came in, I did a lot of visiting with my sister and one of my other brothers, and then his daughter was in, and it was just really good to be around family. So on the one hand, that kind of gave me a dose, it gave me a little bit of a, booster, because I'm so far from family. So that's helpful. But on the other hand, it's like, I wish this could be more, but it is what it is. And now I'm back and I'm working on artwork and I'm working on the garden, and we'll see what comes next. So that's my little synopsis for the wedding and all of that. And yeah, so onward and upward. Okay, bye.